Jack's Magical Forest Adventure. Chapter 1: The Magical Forest. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a magical forest. The forest was home to a variety of creatures such as fairies, talking animals, and even unicorns. The trees in the forest were tall and lush, and the leaves sparkled in the sunlight. The air was always filled with the sweet fragrance of wildflowers. One day, a young boy named Jack stumbled upon the magical forest while on a walk. He couldn't believe his eyes when he saw the talking animals and the unicorns. He felt like he had entered a dream world. Jack decided to explore the forest and see what other magical creatures he could find. As he walked deeper into the forest, Jack came across a fairy who was crying. The fairy told him that she had lost her magical wand, and without it, she could not perform any spells. Jack promised to help the fairy find her wand, and together they set out on a quest to locate it. Chapter 2: The Search for the Wand. Jack and the fairy walked for hours, looking for the missing wand. They asked the talking animals and the unicorns if they had seen it, but no one had. They searched high and low, under rocks and behind trees, but the wand was nowhere to be found. Just as they were about to give up, they heard a soft rustling sound. They followed the sound and found a mischievous squirrel holding the fairy's wand in its paws. The squirrel had taken the wand and was using it to play tricks on the other animals. Jack and the fairy approached the squirrel and asked for the wand back. The squirrel was hesitant at first, but when he saw the sadness in the fairy's eyes, he relented and gave the wand back. Chapter 3: The Grateful Fairy. The fairy was overjoyed to have her wand back, and she thanked Jack for his help. She asked if there was anything she could do to repay him. Jack thought for a moment and then asked if she could make him fly like a bird. The fairy smiled and waved her wand, and in an instant, Jack's feet lifted off the ground. He flapped his arms like wings and soared through the air. He laughed and shouted with joy as he flew higher and higher. Chapter 4: A Curious Creature. As Jack was flying through the forest, he saw a strange creature in the distance. The creature had a long neck and a small head, and it was covered in colorful feathers. Jack was curious and flew closer to get a better look. The creature saw Jack and smiled, introducing himself as a peacock. He told Jack that he loved to show off his beautiful feathers, but was feeling sad because he had lost one of them. Jack asked if he could help the peacock find his missing feather. Chapter 5: The Missing Feather. Jack and the peacock searched for hours, looking for the missing feather. They checked under rocks and behind trees, but it was nowhere to be found. Just when they were about to give up, they saw a small bird with the peacock's feather in its beak. The bird had taken the feather to use in its nest, but when it saw the sadness in the peacock's eyes, it gave the feather back. The peacock was overjoyed to have his feather back and thanked Jack for his help. Chapter 6: A Helpful Unicorn. As Jack was flying through the forest, he heard a loud noise. He followed the sound and found a unicorn stuck in a muddy bog. The unicorn was thrashing around, trying to free herself, but she was unable to move. Jack quickly flew down and asked if he could help. The unicorn was grateful for his assistance and told Jack that she had been trying to reach a nearby meadow where her herd was waiting for her. Jack knew he had to act fast to help the unicorn. He looked around and found a large branch nearby. He used the branch to create a makeshift bridge over the mud, and the unicorn was able to climb out of the bog. The unicorn thanked Jack and offered to take him to the meadow to meet her herd. Chapter 7: The Unicorn's Herd. The unicorn led Jack to a beautiful meadow where a herd of unicorns was grazing. The meadow was surrounded by colorful wildflowers, and the air was filled with the sweet fragrance of the blossoms. The unicorns were shy at first, but as soon as they saw Jack, they knew he was a friend. They welcomed him into their herd and showed him their magical powers. Jack was amazed by the unicorn's abilities, and he felt grateful to have been able to see them in action. Chapter 8: Return Home. As the sun began to set, Jack knew he had to return home. He thanked the unicorns for their hospitality and said goodbye to his new friends. He flew back through the forest, feeling happy and content. When he arrived home, he climbed into bed and fell asleep with a smile on his face. He dreamed of the magical forest, the talking animals, the fairies, the peacock, and the unicorns. Jack knew that he would never forget his adventure and would always treasure his memories of the magical forest.